is just a pattern. And when he said that, it just clicked for me. And I sat down and I smiled and I was like, it's so simple. And you know how it is when you learn something, and just like he said, you learn it and then you learn it. So has any one of you ever had that moment where it's just like, it's something like hits you in the back of the head and your whole world just, anyone had that? Yeah, that's what it was. And I smiled and I was like, it's so simple. Because everything you experience in your life and your world is created by the patterns in your brain. And we refer to them as neuroconnections. And it's what your brain has been taught, it's how your brain has been taught to react in different situations and how to think. And it's all a pattern. So if someone has told you for 10 years, for example, that you are not good enough, and you start to believe it, your brain starts to form a pattern. And your brain starts to seek for proof to strengthen this pattern. So it looks for situations and everything to reinforce this pattern. And years and years and years and years go by and you reinforce this pattern. So if you look at what it is that holds you back from whatever it is you want to do, it's just a pattern in your brain. So it's not a game against your fears. It's not a game of, trying to do relationships or business or whatever. It's a game of patterns. And every time you move up to the next level in your life, in whatever that is, playing violin, whatever it is, every time you move up to a new level, it's still a game of patterns. Because it's usually the same patterns that keep you from reaching to the next level. So what I want to ask you now is, do you know what pattern is holding you back? Does anyone know, out of the box like this, okay, this is the pattern that is holding me back. This is the belief that is holding me back from the next level. Does anyone know? What's your pattern?
Doubt.
Doubt?
Like start doubting things.
Okay, and what is it that creates the doubt?
Well, any situation, especially social situations maybe.
Yeah? And where does that come from? Why do you feel uncomfortable in social situations?
I don't know, maybe the idea of being the center of attention.
Yeah? Okay, what was yours?
It's the personal, I will skip it for now.
Huh? Personal. Okay, did anyone else have a pattern? Yeah? What's your pattern?
I'm not enough.
Yeah. Yeah. From the people that I've spoken to, if you look at, okay, why are you nervous in social situations? You keep on digging. What I think you're gonna get to, the baseline is, I'm not good enough. If you look at 90% of people, approximately 90% of people have this belief that I am not good enough. And that shows up in your relationships, it shows up in your career, it shows up when practicing violin or whatever you do. It shows up in every area of your life. But it's just a pattern. Right? And when you dissolve that pattern, when you say to yourself, okay, well, I'm not good enough to become, this level of violin, or I'm not good enough to have this intimacy in my relationship. When you dissolve that pattern, you move up to the next game, but then you have, okay, I'm not good enough to move up to this level in violin. So it's just a game of patterns, moving on to the next level. So the question is, how do you play the game? First, of course, is to know your pattern, right? Keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. And if you don't know the pattern, or 2 or 3 patterns that are the core ones that are keeping you back, then how are you supposed to fight them? You can't, right? But once you understand what patterns you have in your brain and where they come from, you can start dissolving them, because your brain is plastic, so it's always changing, always learning, and always creating new neural pathways. So for example, if you have a pattern that says that I'm not good enough, then how do you change it? Well, you tell yourself, I'm good enough. But here's the thing. It needs to be practiced by repetition over and over again. And you need to find new situations that reinforce the pattern that I am good enough. You need to find proof. Because the patterns you have, if you look at your brain, is designed to keep you alive. And it's been doing a damn good job so far because you're alive, right? So if you try to change that, it's a threat to your survival. So you need to learn how to tackle these patterns that you have, and once you dissolve them and once you create new empowering patterns, that's when you start to click. That's when you start to move up the levels. So it's just a game of patterns. Relax, it's easy, right? So go home today and try and figure out, what is my pattern? What is it that holds me back? And you do it by investigation, like he just did. I feel awkward in social situations. Why? And you go down. Why, until you hit the bottom and you find the pattern, and then you change it. Thanks.